This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of a Cincy Fan Talking with LP. And once again, this is yours truly, LP. Appreciate you stopping by the pod on this lovely day or this lovely evening or whatever time you happen to be checking out the pod. You could be doing a lot of stuff with your time, productive stuff, non-productive stuff, however you choose to fill it. But you chose to kick it here with me, and I will never take that for granted. So thanks a lot. As always, we drop in every Tuesday. Been shaky with the time we've been dropping it. So if you the type that want to hear it like immediately, expect it around any time in that time frame between 8 and 10. Something like that. So, got things to do, moving in and out, a lot of moves to make. So expect it on Tuesdays. That's the time frame from 8 to 10 or whatever. So make sure you're checking me out. We jumping into a few things. We'll talk a little bit about the Bengals preseason. When I say a little bit, I do mean a little bit. And we'll talk about why it's just a little bit in a few. We also going to talk about my summer. It's been great and it's been weird at the same time. So we're going to jump into that. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. It's been a topic it's been big in the media. It's been big everywhere. You saw what happened during the Olympics. It's been a pretty big topic. But in my opinion, and of course this is just my opinion as always, I feel like we don't value mental health, especially for athletes, as much as society says that they do. And I feel like I have not the answer or an answer as to why it's not valued as much when it comes to athletes. And when I say when it comes to athletes, I really mean that we value mental health when it comes to ourselves or when it comes to people in certain settings, quote unquote, regular people. And I hit you with the air quotes on that, regular people. But when we're talking about athletes, I feel like a lot of people think that they have not really ownership, but they feel like they feel like they should have more access to athletes than they really should. If you kind of watch not just Twitter, but if you watch the media, you listen to how fans interact with each other and how they try to interact with athletes, people really feel like they have a relationship with athletes that they don't. They feel like they know athletes better than they do, and they feel like these athletes owe them something because they get paid a lot of money. And it's kind of like these athletes are getting N amount of dollars to play a game. So why shouldn't they talk to the media when we want them to? Or why shouldn't they interact with the fans more? Or why shouldn't they just do quote unquote ordinary things to let us fans know that they care? I feel like that's what most fans feel about athletes, especially in this time when there's so much access to athletes. You can hop on Twitter, you can hop on Snapchat, you can hop on Facebook, you can check out what they're doing. You can almost check them out during the game. It's pretty much that deep with the media. You'll have the cameras posted right on the sidelines. You'll have the sideline reporter bouncing back and forth between one side and the other side, sticking a microphone in the face of all the athletes right when they hop off of the field or hop off of the court. Like, how do you feel about this? And just imagine for a second, you're having a bad day at work. You're having a terrible day. Things are just not going right. Your coworkers getting on your nerves. You're not able to do what you need to do, and your day ends. And it ends late because since you couldn't do what you needed to do, you got kept later in order to get it done. So you go home and you are upset. Do you really want somebody running up to you going like, "Hey, how was your day? What happened when you didn't get that order filled? What happened when you weren't able to turn the product over the way you were supposed to? How'd you feel about that? What are you going to do to make it better the next day?" How would you really feel if somebody did that to you? Normally, when you have a really bad day, you don't want to talk about it. Like, you really don't. You need time to process. Maybe you want to take a shower. Maybe you want to take a bath. Maybe you want to get some wine, get you a beer or something like that. You just want to relax a little bit. And then when you're up to it, maybe a half an hour later, maybe an hour later, hell, maybe a day later, you'll be like, "Hey, you had questions for me. Let's talk about it. Like, I'm okay to talk now." That's the normal cycle with quote unquote regular people. But for some strange reason, we don't think as a society that athletes are regular people. We really don't think this. We feel like athletes are way up here and us regular people, quote unquote, since we're not way up here, but they're making so much money because of quote unquote us, we should have more access. We should get to talk to you right after the game. We should know exactly how you're feeling, even though you lost on the buzzer beater shot. You should bring yourself out and talk to people right after that. It's a sign of quote unquote bravery if you do this. And I think it's a bunch of crap. Like, I really do. When people are saying that we want mental health value for athletes and things like that, this is really what they're saying. They're saying that we are people just like you and we go through ups and downs, and we just want to feel respected when things aren't going so well. And usually the answer to that is, well, that's the job. You should understand that when you get into this, you're going to have to do stuff like that. But does that have to be the expectation? And if you look closely, you can see this trail go all the way to maybe like middle school or elementary school, where you have a tall kid in the class that's doing really well in basketball, or you have a big kid that's really good at football, and all of a sudden they're getting all of this attention. And it's good attention, but it's attention for the wrong reasons, because they can do something well, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's go ahead and pave the way for this kid, because we kind of idolize athletes in that fashion. Like, we really do. And when we feel like we're not getting the respect because we idolize that person so much, we get upset. And it really shouldn't be like this. The athletes they're really doing a job. And we can say that they're doing it, for us, but they're really not. I mean, we just had a whole pandemic where these athletes played without fans. There were no fans in the stands, and they still played. So it's about entertainment for us, but it's a job for them. It's a job for these basketball players and these football players. And it's okay to critique them. I'm not saying it's not. It's okay to say, hey, so and so had a bad game. So and so didn't do well. Let's talk about why they didn't do well. And you don't necessarily have to be in the sport to do that. I mean, there's a lot of really good analysts and commentators who never touched the ball. And they do really well because, they can understand the game and they can break stuff down. But what's really not cool is expecting athletes to do all of these things that we wouldn't even do. I'm not hopping up in front of a full audience after I have like a rowdy class and I go like, hey, let me talk about what happened. No, I don't want to talk right now. Like I really don't. Like I need time to process. I need time to really think about what happened. So when we do talk, I can give you answers that make sense and I'm not giving you emotional answers. I mean, I remember one time, well, I think a lot of people remember this. After the crosstown shootout, when UC played Xavier, and it was that ridiculous fight, and people were getting punched and stuff like that. They actually wheeled some of the Xavier players out, the ones that got into the fight. They wheeled them out and had them talking about it, and then were surprised when they got some of the answers that they got. I still remember Mark Lyons going like, "Hey, we had to zip them up," and people were like, "Why would he say that?" I can tell you why he said that because you took him straight from a fight and 15 minutes later plopped him in front of a room full of reporters who want a soundbite. And that's basically what happened. So we have to value athletes when they say, hey, I don't really want to talk right now. Can we talk a little bit later? I don't really see anything wrong with that. I feel like we live in a society where people want what they want right now. And there's a lot of different reasons why that is. I mean, we have apps that you can click on and you can get your stuff the next day. We have things where, you just click on it and it's right there. We get upset when our internet doesn't work in 2 seconds. Like it's slow if our internet works in 4 to 5 seconds. We're like, dang, why are these screens loading so slow? That's the way it is right now, and that's not wrong. I'm not saying, hey, let's go back to AOL dial-up. Like I'm never going back. You'll never see me at a grocery store looking for those CDs where I can get the 80 free hour. No, no, we're not going back. What's happening now is great. I mean, this is all of these upgrades are really, really good, but we can't let our desire to have access to athletes mess with their mental health because that's what it's doing. And people are like, it's really not that big of a deal. Why don't they want to talk? Because they don't. I mean, Naomi Osaka doesn't want to talk sometimes. And then people get on her case because she wanted to go to the ESPYs. Have you ever been upset or have you ever been sad and you were like, you know what? Maybe I should step out for a little bit so I can feel better. Somebody invited me to this function. I'll go ahead and go. Imagine if everybody at the function was like, why are you here? Shouldn't you be depressed? Like, why are you here right now? You should go ahead and leave and you should be more depressed. Like, imagine if somebody said that to you. You'd be upset. You'd be like, I have the right to be out here doing what I want to do and trying to make myself feel better. I have obligations and I'm trying to meet those obligations. I'm trying to let you know I'm strong enough to do this. And that's what a lot of these athletes go through. People try to put them in this little box. And when they step outside of the box, people are like, wow, how could you do that? You're supposed to be this. I expect you to be this. And what I really like about today's athlete is that they're not going for it. And honestly, the athletes before them didn't go for it. And I feel like that's why they can do what they do because they have prototypes. They have people like a Charles Barkley. They have people like a Ron Artest. They have these people that didn't conform. They were like, I'm going to be me. So it's not like it's a new thing. It's just we have so much more access now that we're kind of like, you can be you, but I want to know everything that you do. I want to hear about it. And if I can't hear about it, then I'm upset because you owe me, because as a fan, you're supposed to be, no, they're not. They're doing a job. They get paid so much because the number one rule of business is the cost of something is what you're willing to pay. It's that simple. The worth of anything is what you're willing to pay. So if somebody say Kawhi Leonard is worth $186 million, that's his price. That's how much he's worth to play basketball monetarily. If people get upset about that, I mean, that's on them because it's a business model pretty much when it comes to these athletes getting paid. Maybe it shouldn't cost that much for somebody to dribble a ball. Maybe people shouldn't get paid that much to throw a ball. But the cost of something is simply what someone is willing to pay. And it's really not about the fan. We're not putting, oh, well, this fan doesn't make as much, so you should make as much. I mean, in a perfect world, teachers should get paid a lot and janitors should get paid a lot. There are a lot of people that I feel like are worth the money, but apparently other people don't. So we get paid what we get paid, and we can keep working to get more. Your ticket, when you buy a ticket to go to a game, it's inflated because everything else inside of the ballpark or the arena or the stadium is inflated. But you pay it because you feel like it's worth it. Simple as that. If you stop paying it, the price will go down and it's worth less. So when we're coming at these athletes all reckless and we're on Twitter going like, well, why don't you talk? Why are you flaking off the press conferences? Don't you feel like you owe it to the fans? No, they don't owe us anything. They do what they do and they get paid and we get entertained to watch. But because of that, they don't owe us more. No, I mean, they just don't. Because if you're saying that they owe us more because of what they do, how come it isn't in reverse for all the stuff that we do for others? People will be well within their rights, as employers to go like, well, I pay you X amount of dollars, so I expect you here. And then afterwards, I expect you here because I'm paying you. It could be flipped just like that. And we don't like that. We're not going for that. So why should an athlete? We can't have it one way and then have it the other way. I mean, we can't have our cake and eat it too. I mean, Marlo Stanfield said it best, you want it one way, but it's the other way. And that's the way that it is. We have to value athletes' mental health. We just do. And I feel like because we can't see an athlete injured mentally, we can't see it until, they literally break. And since we can't see it, we don't value it nearly as much. I think Aaron Rodgers made a very good point where he just kind of took a break. Earlier in the year, he was like, I'm just relaxing. I'm not doing anything at all. And people were like, man, what's wrong with you? Are you good mentally? And he's like, I'm fine mentally. I'm good. But I'm taking a break so I can stay good. And a lot of people won't do that. They won't kind of take time to just relax and chill out. Nothing has to be wrong with you to do that. You're well within your rights to go like, you know what? I'm kicking back. I'm chilling out because I want to make sure I'm good for what I have to do next. I'm good right now. Nothing's wrong with me, but I want to stay that way. I don't want people to work me and work me and work me until I just collapse and I need a mental break and I need a physical break. Because the first thing people will say is, why didn't you tell me before? But when we tell you before, you're kind of like, well, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? No, I'm good. And Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm good. I feel like athletes should really be able to do that. Just take the time to go like, look, I need this space for me. People are always watching me, all eyes are on me. And they're probably okay with that most of the time. Like I said before, they did sign up for that. But just because they signed up for it doesn't mean that they don't deserve a break from it. Imagine being watched constantly. Like imagine just people always looking at you and going like, okay, what is he doing next? What is she doing next? He was just out here. How is that going to affect the team? I thought that he got injured, but he's not injured. How's that going to affect the team? That has to be grating on you after a while. It really does. So athletes should really get that respect to just be like, I'm taking time out. I'm gonna be okay. I'm fine, but just leave me alone for a little bit. And as fans, we have to be okay with that. We really do, because if we're fans like we say we are, like if we really care about our teams and we really care about these athletes, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Like it really shouldn't. So you got a Cincy fan talking with LP. We'll be right back in a second.
Hi, I'm Princess and I'm Queen. This is Daddy.
You have to say, and this is a Cincy fan talking with LP.
And this is a sensitive fan talking with LP Daddy.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back to the Humble Pod. Appreciate you sticking and staying. Definitely appreciate it. So we have some good football. Some good. I'm lying. I'm lying to y'all. We had some preseason football. It's not good. Like preseason football is not good football. It's football, which is cool, but I saw a lot of people just going bananas about what some of these QBs were doing. And I'm like, relax, calm down. We watched football players, their first game, and that's definitely a big thing. You have somebody playing their first NFL snaps. It's really, really big. However, you had these rookies throwing against second and third, and sometimes even fourth string defenses. Let's pipe down. Let's calm down. I remember reading something about Terry Bradshaw one time. And Terry Bradshaw was like, our team in the preseason of my rookie year. This is what he said. He said they went 4-0, and he had like a great completion percentage. He had many touchdowns, and he was like, this is going to be easy. I can't believe how easy this game is. And he was like, once he got to his first regular season game, he was like, the speed just changed tremendously. And all of a sudden, he was kind of lost. He was like, I don't really know what to do because the game is not as easy as he thought it would be. This is no attack against any of the quarterbacks that we saw. Justin Fields ball out. Trey Lance had some pretty decent drives. Jordan Love did okay. All I'm saying is this: if you're looking for the preseason to be your guide as to what these players are going to do, historically speaking, it's hard to use the preseason for that. It really is. It's really difficult to tell what these players are going to do based on how they looked in the preseason. And that's not a jab. That's not a slight. That's not me saying, man, Justin Fields going to be trash, because I'm a Buckeye fan through and through. I'm a Buckeye graduate. The wife's a Buckeye graduate. Stepdaughter is currently at Ohio State. So you can't tell me nothing about my Buckeyes. Like, real talk. I'm a Justin Fields fan. All I'm saying is this: let's wait until the regular season games start before we start pumping these guys up. We have to do that. We owe it to these players not to gas them up this much, because what happens is, if they're not as good, or if they just go through rookie stuff, like these rookies are gonna go through some stuff. I mean, Peyton Manning set a record for interceptions his rookie year. Like, this really happened. We've had so many rookie QBs who ended up being great quarterbacks. They just weren't. particularly good as rookies. And that's okay. When you put a rookie quarterback in to start, what you're really saying is, I'm good with you screwing up. I'm good with it because you're going to learn from it. I'm good with you throwing picks. I'm good with you holding on to the ball too long and taking sacks. This is all growth. And when you start a rookie at QB in the NFL, you are literally saying, you're not saying I'm throwing my season away, but you're saying, I'm willing to sacrifice the season for your growth if necessary. That's what you're saying. Because if not, you would find there are so many QBs that you could plug and play for a year. Colin Kaepernick. But I'm just saying, you could really do that. You putting a rookie in, you're like, hey, struggle. It's cool because it's going to pay off for us in the future. But again, there's always this narrative, media driven, sometimes fan driven, that you're going to put the rookie in and he's going to ball out because he balled out in college. Eh, hopefully. But even with Joe Burrow, as Cincinnati fans, we were all like, Joe Burrow is going to be great, but maybe not this year. I mean, we were all saying that. And we were impressed with what he did his first year before he got hurt. But you got to be good with letting these QBs struggle. And you can't let the small sample size of the first preseason game lead you to believe that all of these guys are going to be stars. Because I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they're not. We just don't know yet. So don't set them up for them to take the fall because that's not cool. And we owe them that, I think. So summer's winding down in the LP household. We got the kids heading off to school, and the grown ups are about to do their whole school thing or whatever. And I figured it was a really good time for me to just talk about the summer. It was a pretty good summer. We had some hiccups. we had some small hiccups, but for the most part, summer was really really good. Had, Driving home from Myrtle Beach, we like to do the drive. The kids are strange because they actually enjoy sitting in the car and just chilling out while dad does the drive. The wife never goes to sleep when I drive, which is the true sign of a rider right there. Like she's like, if you up, I'm up. I'm like, that's cool. So I always got somebody to talk to in the car. But we driving along, coming back from Myrtle Beach. We beat the hurricane. We chilled out on the beach for a while, had a great time. Driving back, I'm looking at the fuel gauge, and the fuel gauge is just dancing, empty to full, full to empty. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Then all of a sudden, doom doom, check engine light goes on. The the fuel gauge drops all the way down to zero, all the way down to E. I'm like, what's happening right now? Like, what's really going on? Is this car about to blow up? I don't know. So I pull over. I go like, hey, look, what we're gonna do is check this car out. And the wife is like, please don't get out of the car. Don't get out the car in the middle of the middle of the freeway. I'm like, you make sense. But the car is still rolling fine. There are no issues with the car. So I found a gas station, pull over, and found out that the fuel gauge is blown. I'm like, the fuel gauge just blew? Really? Like, this is really happening right now? So I had to figure out how much gas was in the car, just put it on full, turn off the little trip speedometer, set it to zero, and I'm like, every time this hits 150 miles, gassing up again. It took us forever to get home. I mean, but that's the stuff that kind of happens in the summer, though. It's like, weird things happen. You work around it. Boom, you keep enjoying your summer. And it was all cool until last week, where when we go to Kings Island for fun in the sun or whatever, and We're on like that delirium ride, the one that swings back and forth and it goes like crazy high. I'm with my 8-year old. She wants to ride everything, which is excellent. And she's like, we're in the middle of the air, and she's like, "Daddy, your phone flew out." I'm like, "No, not my phone. My phone in my pocket. Like my phone right in my pocket." And she's like, "No, Daddy, your phone flew out." I'm like, "No, it's in my pocket." She's like, "Okay." The ride goes off, and she's like, "Daddy, I think your phone flew out." I'm like, "My phone is right in my." Oh no, no! I'm feeling on my pockets like a crackhead. I'm like, wow, my phone really flew out. I don't know where that phone is. Like, I'm like, that's crazy. I thought I had it secure. I thought I was good. Though I hate when the wife is right. She's right like 94% of the time, which is ridiculous. She's like, make sure you seal it up in your other pocket. I'm like, I got this. I got this. She's like, make sure it's sealed up. You want me to hold it? I'm like, nah, I got it. I get out the ride, tell her what happened. I couldn't even look at her. I could not even look at her because I know what's about to happen. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and cut it off and call a replacement for a replacement phone and like just harass me later because I know you're right. I, I can't take her always being right. It's it's uncanny. Like is that what's supposed to happen? I mean, I've been married long enough to know the answer to this, but it's literally what's supposed to happen is she tells me something, I say no, no, I'm good, and then it happens the way she said. Like, is that supposed to happen on a regular basis? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Hit me up on Twitter and let me know that, like, if that's really what's supposed to happen in a marriage, because I kind of feel like it is. I feel like that's the marriage way. It's I don't know. Um, got the replacement phone, so I'm good on that. But it's just kind of been that summer where it's been like real cool things happening, like a whole lot of just relaxing and chilling out, surrounded by weird happenstances. Like, um, and to answer your question, no, the fuel gauge is not fixed yet. I'll get to it. I guess I'm just so used now to checking my speedometer and making sure, like, once I hit 150, 155 miles on the trip gauge, I just pull into the gas station. I guess I'm just so used to that now. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get this fuel gauge fixed. I can't make another trip and stop every 150, 200 miles. Like, no, I can't do that. Luckily, the car is big enough to where it holds a lot of gas, but eh, we got to figure something out. Um, appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate y'all letting me, talk to y'all, and make sure y'all stop by next week where, we got some more stuff planned. So, until next week, as always, y'all, life is good. Peace out. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's the Cincy Fan Talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.